Hey, everybody, just hanging out. Actually, listening to the new release by Gnostic Lucid. Yeah, it's actually pretty good drum. I like it. And again, kind of like anything that Gnostic releases, it's good dance tunes. Anyway, thanks for joining us tonight. Uh, tonight we're going to just take a look at some of the resources that Will and I review, just look at on a daily basis. Together make decisions to help inform us, but also to help inform our decisions. Um, just because we watch things doesn't mean we buy into it 100%. So it's gathering information anymore is really on you. You can't believe 100% anything of what anyone says anymore. So the more resources that you have are trustable, the better it is for you. And so tonight we're just going to share the resources that we have. And I'm just going to turn that down there. Yeah. And we'll share our resources. We'll take a look at the ones that we use on a regular basis. And then you can determine actually if these are the types of resources that you want to use. And if you have resources, then please let us know because I think that's the big thing is, as I had mentioned before, I don't think we really care anymore about left, right, or central. I really don't. This comes down to protecting our families from whatever's coming. And there is something coming. It does feel that way. And so, how do we best prepare? Well, the only way I can figure it out is just through some of the information that you can glean off the internet. And it, like I said, you don't need to actually believe everything. For example, the Tucker Carlson interview. That was spectacular. And Putin was so articulate. So, the whole thing about that? It was so nice just to see a leader being articulate and smart because we don't see that very often. So, so that was quite interesting. Um, did I buy the whole thing? No, not really. I thought it was really interesting, the history behind that region. I get it, but that's kind of like saying, well, in Canada in the 1600s, France owned, this large tract of land. Like, at some point in time, you just can't. You can't keep going back. The French owned Louisiana. The Mexicans owned, a great part of the southern U.S. And I'm not saying, I'm really not giving you any opinion. All I'm trying to say is, I think we need to think about what these people are saying. And the one thing that I thought was uh, the biggest surprise was that Tucker actually applied to be in the CIA. That was very telling. And I really don't know. I don't know how I feel about that. So He asked a lot of really good questions, and I actually like Tucker. I'm not saying that Tucker is um, uh, a player. Let's call these people players. I don't know if Tucker's a player, but somebody who has actually, wanted to be in the CIA, that tells a lot about their character. And, knowing what his father did, he managed that Voice of America, which I think they ended up banning Donald Trump. Um, you know, there's a lot there. There's a lot there to unpack. So I don't know. I thought it was just really interesting. But at the end of the day, is it going to end the war? No. I am concerned, though, that it might make people um, more accepting of communism at large, because as we know, like Russia is a communist country, and is that what they're pushing us towards? So, excuse me one second, I'm going to cough. There we go. Um, so anyway, just a few thoughts about that because that's been on the minds of at least 140 million people who have watched that interview, and I think it's really important to figure out where you're getting your information from and where uh, just assessing it. Like I wouldn't take anything at face value until you've actually thought it through and let it resonate with you. If something feels off, it feels off for a reason. So let's just take a look here. I'm going to see if I can get one of the. Here, I'm struggling here. One moment. I think I am wanting to go this way. Hmm. Okay, so let's- hmm. Okay, this isn't actually working the way I want it to work here. I'm sorry for the technical issues that I'm having. Oh, I see why. It's the user. Pardon moi. What I want to do is I want to share my screen. And so I don't want to see that again. Share the screen. And oh, this will be a joy. I don't know where I'm going to share first. So we are just going to start with, okay, I see. All right, we're going to start right here. And this person, David Blaine, Adapt 2030. I know I've talked to a lot of people who've watched him and who say he's a real doom and gloom guy. And while that might be true to some extent, because he he does have a lot of news that isn't the greatest news, um, the reason that we watch this fellow is because he has a history of being someone who is involved with um, material handling, shipping, receiving, like on a large scale. So he's moving grain or he's moving, these large commodities. He has a very good knowledge of the shipping lanes and of the shipping process and of what statistics should look like. So we find him really quite knowledgeable, actually. And this is actually a show that he did today, and this was quite interesting. I'm just going to play a little bit of it here. And
Forward, the way to make the change. They don't have to do a single thing. It doesn't have to be violent in any way, shape, or form. All they have to do is stop the food. It's really that easy.
so David's talking about what's going on over in Paris right now. And just to let you know, we haven't been actually seeing what's going on. There's very little footage on YouTube or news stories that are actually showing what it is that the French farmers are doing. And David went over there. He's actually doing a lot of research on what's going to be happening in October 2024 when the four gas planets line up. And so he was over there and saw what was going on. So I'm just going to play a little bit more of this.
And the elitist globalist oligarchs across the planet are just terrified now. Oh no, they all figured out the super easy secret sauce. Turn off the food and the citizens revolt and take out the leaders. And all you do is block the highways and the farmers say, I'm not going to give you the food. I'm not even going to sell it to you. We decide who gets to eat this time, not the other way around. Not you giving me substandard 50% off the actual retail price of what you're going to try to rake me over the coals at the farm gate for. You know what? We're turning the script. We're cutting off your food. You get no food for your cities. We'll let the citizens deal with you. And that's the way it needs to be. Nonviolent, just like that. Let it take its course.
So, like I say, he is very intense, and he has a place in Tennessee where he does farming. He has a small farm, and I actually not quite sure what actually funds David, but all I do know is that the information that David provides is quite informative on a worldwide scale. He's very much in tune with what's happening in the agricultural shipping uh, industry. So when it looked like there was going to be a shortage of flour, he was on that, and you know the shortages he's on, where they're not growing food. Like he really does deep dives into that. His website is Adapt 2030, and not sure I can access. Yes, I can. And yeah, so anyway, that is one of the sites that we looked at. Now I'm just trying to. You have to excuse me here because I am still on the move. There's another site that we looked at. Oh, just completely discombobulated. There we go. I just want to now go to another another one of these slides that or another one of the sites that we looked at. Uh, if I can get there. There's, like I said, there's quite a few of these. The other the other folks that we looked at is Redacted. And Redacted is Natalie and Clayton. Let's see, we're going to skip through this. Natalie and Clayton on Redacted.
At least 2027. because no doctor wants to do that. So
This is
here's
a
what
big
they're
story
saying,
here.
because the
And it
doctors
is
are saying,
doctors were rolling
we
against
don't
this
want
Widows
to
Aid
help people
program.
who are mentally ill die. They're saying, we'll train them. We're going to train them to do that. We need 3 years to do it. In other words, they have held panels on this topic for more than 2 years. Doctors have told them this is unethical. So, what it is the Medical Assistance in Dying program in Canada that was sold to the Canadian public as a way to help people with terminal illnesses have better deaths, more peaceful deaths. Well, they decided just a few years ago they wanted to roll it out to people with mental illness as well. And that was supposed to happen in March of
How
2024.
horrific.
But politicians panicked because they had no way to ethically do it. So now they're saying, because they held all these panels, they had all these experts saying, we can't give you standards for this. It's actually pretty stinking terrible. They're saying, we'll reprogram you and you will do it, doctors. So if you took one of those oaths to do no harm,
This
you're
is
going to do some harm. They really need you to do it. This program, again, was set to be extended to people with mental illness, but now they're saying, hold, please.
so Clayton and Natalie, they are independent news folks. Clayton used to be on Fox News. I'm not sure where Natalie came from, whether she was on Fox as well. I know that she has worked in the news industry, and they've both been reporters, and now they're both independent and they do this show themselves. Um, One of the things I really find quite interesting with this couple is that they have gone and done some deep dives on some of the taboo issues. Not always correct in their assumptions. I know I've listened to them on a couple of occasions talking about Canadian things, and I know that what they're saying is wrong. Um, so, like anything else, not 100% correct, but I do see some diligence there, and they are actually living in, I think it's Spain or Portugal. I can't recall exactly, but they aren't in the States. And so they have an ear to the ground in both the US and in the European markets there. So they're a good source. Um, this is one of the more marketed news outlets, I guess, or independent news outlets. He's got 2.3 million subscribers, so he's quite large. Um, I'm not sure if that has anything to do with the quality of the reporting that you're getting right now, but I do know that it's a professional job, and it's quite interesting to hear their opinions on what's going on. So I was hoping to have my husband on tonight, but I'm thinking that he is having some issues. So I am just going to carry on here. So that being that's one of the second news sources that we look at. This next one, I did link to this fella.
Are you sick of having issues with your
Um,
webinars?
well,
Wasting
sorry about
tons
this.
of time on troubleshooting?
I'll not listen to her anyway. We can skip the ad. This is Neil McCoy Ward. And Neil is actually from the Isle of Man. That's where he lives. But he travels all over Europe. And he is an economic guru. He sells a lot of financial courses, how to invest your money um, and make money. I know he has a background and actually he was in the military. But I also do know that um, he's prepping. He's prepping for what's coming because he also knows that there is something coming. So this fella just kind of goes around. He does his walk and talks where he's walking through oh through where he's walking through various cities in Europe and and then he has his done. So he's pretty interesting. Um, I guess what I like about him is that he has the perspective on the financial markets as well. And that's something that we all need to watch. We all need to watch what's going on worldwide with with the financial piece. And I think that realistically, he's actually a very good resource. Now, I think I'll give a couple more of these, and then I may end the stream. And then try to fix my technical difficulties um, with Hubs and bring him online. But I'll give the initial introduction to the things that we will talk about. This next one is called Suspicious Observers. And this is where you can get your sun news every day. Why is this important? Well, because if an EMP comes our way, we actually have a few hours to get out of Dodge, so to speak. And the sun weather impacts so much. It impacts people's mental states. It impacts our health, cardiac health. It impacts the earthquakes and volcanoes and everything else that goes on this planet. So this is a very neat channel. It's only this morning news report is only between 3 to 5 minutes long, so it doesn't take a lot of time out of your day. And it's just like watching the weather report, only it's what's happening on the news, or sorry, on the sun. Um, Now he does do deeper dives on what he feels is going to happen. Um, I won't get into that right now, but there's a lot of information on this channel, Suspicious Observers. So I think I am going to put a pause in this. I'm going to see if I can figure out my husband's technical difficulties, and then we will rejoin. So bye for now, and I will be back soon.